I just want to be clear, I actually have another t-shirt and I have another jacket. But they all look exactly the same. I sort of try and do things a little differently, I suppose, so I'm going to apologise up front. I'm pretty direct and honest, and I think that's where a lot of the passion comes from. So please, nobody take offence in anything that I say, but it all comes from a good place. Our business is really simple. We launched it yesterday, and thanks to the magnificent efforts of EML and the team who just busted their guts for a solid, well, it was a solid 12 months, but particularly the last solid few days. But our business is really simple. I'm going to ask a question. Like when you normally, and I apologise asking this question after Frank Green, but when you normally go and buy a coffee, right, how do you normally pay for it? Just tell me. What do you do? Card. Most people tap. If you tap, put your hand up. Who taps? Correct. I want to know how many of you give to charity throughout the year. Keep your hand up, keep your hand up. I want to know how many of you actually know where that money goes that you give to charity. A lot of hands went down. I also want to know who's sick and tired of having street chuggers, people stopping you at corners, people calling you up at home in inconvenient times. Who's sick and tired of that? Yeah, a lot of hands went back up, which I like. So the final question is, who, and I know a lot of you have, who's been involved in charitable work, who's actually tries to go out and raise funds, and at the end of the day, sit there and say, geez, that was bloody hard work, and how much money did we actually end up with in the bank? Who's gone through that process? Correct. So our business is about solving those exact same problems. We make it easy, simple for people to give, just through the tap of the card when you're going to buy your coffee, when you're going to buy your lunch, when you're going to buy your drink, when you're out with your mates, it's really easy. You get to see exactly where your money is going. You get to follow that project, and we do it at a fractional cost for the charities who are desperate to continue to raise revenue into the new world. So that is ImpactPay. We're moving society from the concept of tap and go to the concept of tap and give. And you should feel guilty if you don't do it, because you've got a choice now. So who are we? Our vision is really simple. All we want to do is discover innovative ways where we can help everybody in the world to help everybody else in the world. It's really simple. It's very similar to EML, right? They're about helping their customer. We're about helping society in general. We figure if we can make it easy for you to give every day when you're just buying coffee, when you're buying lunch, imagine the good that you can do with that money. Simple, easy. Our mission is to become the world's most trusted social impact payments platform. We've talked about platforms beforehand because the product that we've developed has multiple applications across different verticals, not just charities. But trust is really important because we overcome a massive issue that I'll talk about in a second when it comes to trust in payments. Really simple idea, yeah? You now go to pay, you got a choice. I apologise, Westpac, but you can use your existing debit card, right? And our target market, millennial, we know 80% of millennials under the age of 30 do not have a credit card. They're averse to credit unless you're dealing with Afterpay, which is going to stuff their lives up, but that's a whole separate conversation, right? You've got a choice. You can use your Westpac debit card that does nothing for no one other than make the fat cats rich, or you can choose ImpactPay and pay exactly the same way, do exactly the same thing, but a small amount of money every time you tap goes towards a cause that you feel passionate about. So let's look at the journey, seeing as we're the most recent launch business. It's been a 10-year journey, really. In fact, I tell a lie, it's been a 47-year journey, really, 48-year journey to get to where we are. But our background comes from financial services, legal, in particular, this journey with Flinders, which you see here in 2013, which we sold to Australian Unity. That was the first time I caught up with the EML guys. And what was really important about that is that at the time we were looking for a payments disbursement solution for individuals that we were charged with looking after. These were people that couldn't make financial decisions for themselves. So our business was to actually make those payments and decisions for them, and we wanted a technology solution. EML was in that 2012-13, didn't quite have the solution we were looking for at that time, but we liked what they were doing. We kept that relationship going until we sort of reached out for this new opportunity. ImpactPay, we've really quickly built up the team. There's actually 2 more faces in the last 2 weeks, which we haven't had there. My co-founder, Regina, who's in the front there. Afterwards, we don't wear the caps, we're wearing the leather jackets. You can find us, so that's easy. And we've got a great advisory board as well, which is both a CEO of Kogan, Andrew Walduck, who was the head of EGM and technology at Aussie Post, so knows all about the, he built the ID facility, and Leslie Podesta, who's the CEO of one of our foundation partners. The thing about what we've built in partnership with EML is exactly the same sort of thing that other people have been talking about, is the global scalability. Because the same problem exists all around the world that we're solving here, right? And one of the key things, and I'll talk about a little bit more, that we like with EML is they've already got footprints in the markets we want to expand into. We're using the MasterCard rail system, absolutely, because that's using existing infrastructure and technology. We don't have to rebuild stuff. People understand how it works. We can integrate with retail systems, easy. Seventh Beam, 3 of the boys are here, who are our app developer, and they're absolute legends. And they've actually got a heap more work out of EML, I'd like to say, as a result of us, but hey, take a clip. And we're doing some really interesting research with RMIT University at the moment in terms of looking to create what we call a ubiquitous global blockchain solution for social impact payments. And that's their whole of their division there, and the head of their professor is working with us to help us scale out the technology that we've built that operates in our local markets. The real problem that we're solving with our solution, apart from the fact that it's a bloody good looking app, right, is that there are 2 key areas of payments that no one's talked about. In every key area of payment at the moment, there is a traditional, what I call, value exchange. I give you money, whether through tap or swipe, you give me a coffee. I give you cash, you give me a car, whatever it is. There are 2 key spaces where that doesn't happen. The first one is in the charity space. I give you money, I hope to God you're going to do something good with it. I never hear back from you. I don't know where it's gone. I don't know how you've spent it. The other one is government and social disbursements, which I know EML was looking at a number of years ago, but we've really honed in on this because, again, government gives you money, don't know where it goes, not quite sure how you're spending it. There's no control mechanisms, there's no delegated authorities in there. But the technology that we've built and the solution we've built in partnership with EML provides and solves for all of those. And they are massive issues. So let's just look at the one down the bottom here, consumer and charity. Just in Australia, people giving. This is not donation, this is not big philanthropies, big companies, huge individuals, just people giving. $12.5 billion a year people are giving. In the US, that same problem is in Australian dollars, 398 billion. In the UK, 19.6 billion, right? I don't know where my money's going. I don't know where it's going. It's too hard for me to give. I don't want you stopping me at the street. I haven't got cash. Nightmare. Government disbursements. In Australia, when you look at just Australia, forget the US, it's too big, right, the US, but just in Australia, it's $147 billion if you include the NDIS, in terms of government paying out cash, not knowing where it's going, no trackability. These are big, big problems that we're solving here. Bringing ImpactPay to life, as I say, the journey that we've been through, live testing. We've worked really closely with EML over the period and the journey, closely with MasterCard as their chosen platform as well. They were the ones that put us onto MasterCard, to be honest. 7th Beam, as I say, 12th of November yesterday we launched. I sort of feel, it's one of those funny things, those guys that have launched a business, it's sort of like, you know, you're sort of thinking, come on, you know, this should be the best day of my, I wanted to, 9 o'clock last night, I wanted to go to bed, right? I was just anyway, you know, can only get better from there. I'm going to talk really quickly about some immediate adjacencies before I get into the detail of the actual product itself. Even with the product that we've created, one of the great things about the partnership with EML is that they already have experience in the retail space. Okay, so we see a massive opportunity for us to build a integrated program with retailers without having to touch the back-end POS systems. It's just through the payment platform, existing exactly the same as we heard beforehand with CoinJar, same sort of concept. But obviously what they can do is, if you've chosen a particular charity to support, that particular retailer can make the same level of support that you've given. So you can create an immediacy of relationship. You can imagine Coles standing there when you go and tap with your card and 10 cents goes to, say, Royal Children's Hospital in Sydney, and Coles say, hey, that's important to you, consumer, so I'm going to support what you do, consumer, and give 10 cents as well. Bring it down to the human level. Massive opportunity. You've got $571 billion worth of value that goes through retail tills each year in Australia. ImpactPay for kids, unbelievable, right? So kids, those of you who've got kids running around, they're after school sports, in-school activities, no one's carrying cash, got to solve for that problem. There are 1 or 2 in the market that are trying to do that at the moment. But can you imagine having people sit around a table and actually have a conversation and say, hey, we want to teach you about the value of engaging with other people and supporting the rest of the community. We want to give you some money. We can download it from the parent card. They go and tap. Small amount of money goes to whichever cause it is that the family agrees. And we say the family that gives together stays together. So what's the current state of play with our current business? Primary target market is next gen, 18 to 35 traditionally at the moment. In the new year, we'll have a kids card, which will be, I think 10 up to 17. I just can't remember that. But next gen, they want to see proof that their dollar's having impact. They want control over where their money's going. They want the ability to be seen as part of a community. So it's really important everyone's on their phone. And they want a mobile-first solution as a primary method of them giving and paying. What do charities want? They want to increase donor acquisition engagement at a low cost. They want to lower the fundraising costs to make the donor dollar go further. We know 70, 80, 90 cents in every dollar that is raised from public fundraising gets lost in costs and administration. We turn that upside down with ImpactPay because our processing and transactional costs are so low, apart from the costs we get charged from EML, are so low that we can actually make sure that you know 80, 85 cents goes directly to the specific project that you give the money to. That is a 4-fold, 5-fold increase in value that's going towards the specific project. Very important. So the barriers that we see at the moment to giving are, 1, people can't afford to give. So part of the solution is democratisation of giving. That's what we're providing. Doesn't matter how much you can afford to give. Even if it's 10 cents, we go as low as 10 cents. It's important that we feel that you give. It's important that, as you can see from the video, there's 577 billion of these things going on around the world. 10 cents isn't going to hurt anyone. Everybody can afford 10 cents. Lack of trust as to where the money's going. So we build this transparency into the solution. So you see for a particular project, and you'll see in a sec, you see where that money's going. You can see how much money's being collected for a project. We have a 100% use rule, as we call it, which says that you must use that money which you receive, which we hold, which in a client segregated account, we have a whole back-end solution for that. You must use that only for the project for which it's been designated. And totally unregulated growth of charities. There's 55,000 charities in Australia. Who knows what the hell they're doing, where the hell the money's going. How do I connect with them? It's a nightmare. I don't want to be stopped. I want a single source where I can go choose, allocate, tap, pay, make it easy. How we deliver for charities. It's about increasing the donor acquisition engagement. You'll see we have a whole feedback program. We have a whole engagement program, right? We have a news feed. how do we give them deeper insights into their giving? So because we own the data, essentially, from when people tap, we know where they're tapping, we know what they're tapping on, we know actually how much they're giving every time. So we actually create these giving personas, which means they can more specifically target opportunities to engage with donors that they could never otherwise do. It's a recurring revenue stream. That's the number one issue that all these charities have. I need money on an ongoing basis. These sugar hits, and there are plenty of other sites where it's a sugar hit. It's a one-to-one engagement. It's once, it's done, it's finished. With us, tap, done, tap, done, tap, done. We know you're going to tap basically 2.3 times a day. We know on average per month you're going to tap 72 times. We know on average that every transaction under 20 bucks, not every, it's a lot, 90% of transactions under 20 bucks are done with the tap, not cash. That's the opportunity they're trying to capture. They could never afford to stand there, rattle the tin, you know, I'm going to buy a packet of chewing gum, you know, guy go, oop, 10 cents please. You know, could never do it. We're launching with these amazing charity partners. It's unbelievable. We've been inundated is the answer, right? We've got 140 of these people on the go, and they just keep coming at us. It's extraordinary. We've chosen 22 to start with, because we actually didn't want just some of the big ones, and some of the big ones are the hardest ones to get through contract negotiations and stuff like that, and we are working with like the World Visions and Plan and those sort of things. But these were the ones that really understood the humanity aspect of what we're doing, and we're really easy to get on board, happy to be involved. But we've got some massive ones, Big Brother, Big Sister, YGAP, which is great, Ronald McDonald's House over in Sydney, Royal Children's Hospital in Sydney here, Classroom of Hope, Alana and Madeline, some fantastic organisations. So this is sort of what the app looks like. Millennials also, as you might know, have trouble managing savings as well. So part of the value is we said we want you to use this as your everyday spend account, right? Keep your relationship with your banks. Don't change that relationship. We know it's a pain in the ass of changing banks. We don't want you to change your mortgages. What we want you to do is be able to consciously decouple from your existing bank, right? And that's very important. Right? So you fund this through linking it to your existing bank account. Same sort of thing as your ING card, whatever. You just set it up, link it across. You can pull across money on a regular basis to help you control your spend each week. So you can actually set up controlled spends, right? Or you can push money in. You know, it's a credit as well, direct credit in. You can then set aside savings goals, for example. What I want to save money for, electric guitar. When do I want to save by? And it will automatically, our smart savings goal aspect of the app will automatically work out how much you've got to put aside each week, and we'll pull it aside for you. And we control that at the front end through the app. Obviously from EML, all that money sits within the client system that sits in the back end, but it's segregated. And then also every time you tap, you actually get a full report of where you've tapped, what you've bought. It tells you how much you've spent and how much you donated and where that donation went. The important thing is about tracking the impact of projects in real time. So what this does is it basically says, hey, well done, Adam, you've contributed 10 cents to this particular project. The whole tribe, not a good example here, but anyway, the whole tribe has given 10 cents. So I was obviously the first person to tap, okay? And the total amount we're looking to raise for this particular project was 250 bucks. So you continuously see in real time, not just what you're giving, but what everybody else is giving to create that sense of engagement. And we're working towards fulfilling that particular goal. And as we said, Cause sets up the project, tribe members use their ImpactPay card to tap, you see the tribe progress, targets achieved, the balance is then transferred into a segregated client account, right? We then actually bring that project to life through our 100% use requirement. And that's a contractual obligation that each of the charities sign with us. We have the right to go in and audit them, for example, to step in. We actually have the right to step in and audit them to make sure they don't use the money for any other projects. The other thing is that we have this spotlight and we have this news feed as well. So as part of our ongoing engagement, we will provide information to you with each particular project with tailored news feeds, as you can see on the far left. There'll be crisis, so if a particular crisis comes up, we can push information out to people. You can donate through the app directly. And we also have the social share prompts. So you can invite your friends to join and engage with you and create a group of you together to try and fulfill a project. We're going through this painful process right now, the customer acquisition strategies, and we've got a number of different strategies, both earned, owned, shared and paid. We have a number of great partners that we choose to engage with. So we've got obviously the charities themselves in terms of engaging with them. We have some fantastic university affiliations with Student Edge, which is a partner of ours to go out to the universities. And we have a range of corporate partnerships as well that we're engaging with at the moment for them to look at using their cards, the ImpactPay cards, as an alternate to their corporate cards. Partnering with EML, as I sort of said, and a lot of people said the same thing, it's a one-stop shop solution for us, really easy, back-end, global, scalable footprint. It's really important for us. You can see the numbers here in Australia are interesting. In comparison to the US, they're sort of insignificant. So, you know, the opportunity, they've got the runway there for us into the US, into Europe. And they've obviously got the experience in launching and scaling reloadable card programs for us. Pays, everyone's talked about that. It's pretty simple. We're a transactional day-to-day activity payment solution. We're going to launch with cards because apart from the fact it's not integrated with Pay at the moment, the cards actually provide us some really good visualization and PR. And then we'll bring the pays into the next year, into the new year. So I'm just going to end by showing it in action. It's a video, it'll loop a few times, but it'll actually show you how it works in real time live. So what that's showing is we go, we tap, just like a normal card. You look at your app, it'll come up with the transaction. We then got a nice little recognise, it'll recognise what type of transaction it is. You'll see the amount changing in terms of the amount the tribe gave, and you'll see that the transaction was $1.11, which included 11 cents for that particular charity. So it works real time, live. We're on Google Play Store at the moment, iOS to come. Download it, because now you have a choice, and make sure you do the right thing. Don't just tap and go. What are we going to do? Thank you.